You know, we hear about interest rates, they go up, they go down, they fluctuate, but do we really understand what that does to the home selling process as well as the home buying process? Because you see, just yesterday, interest rates went up above 7.1%. That is the highest interest rate charge since May of 2024. If you're selling your property with every quarter point rise in interest rates, that excludes a pool of buyers who were qualified at a lower interest rate to afford a more expensive home. So that means if interest rates are going up and you still want to sell your house and you want to sell it in the shortest amount of time, how can you help the buyer make the sale, get into contract, close the deal? And there are some things you can do. One of the things I talk to my sellers about is a temporary mortgage rate buy down. That can be something called a 3-2-1 or a 2-1 buy down, where you're essentially purchasing points off the loan for the buyer for a defined period of time. You get credit on your taxes for doing something like that. The buyer can afford the property, and interest rates, like real estate, cycle. The intent of doing that from the buyer perspective is that the interest rates will come down when your temporary rate runs out so they can refinance the property at a lower rate. It's a great plan, great idea. It really does work. Another thing you could do to entice that buyer, if you're not willing to do the interest rate buy down, would be to contribute toward closing costs. Remember, the buyer is buying your property. They have a mortgage rate, a payment, they have an insurance payment, they have a tax payment, and you want to make sure that they have the cash to close your property, because those are prepaid expenses at the closing table. By you providing assistance to closing costs, and that assistance might be up to $10,000, you and your realtor decide that. Think of the amount of cash that the buyer has to take the pressure, the anxiety, the fear, if you will, of buying that property. Interest rates matter. Pay attention to the interest rates. Make a plan with your realtor on how to market and how to send your property out to other realtors and other buyers to make sure you get it in front of the most eyes. If you need help in understanding this further, please give me a call. My name is Gary Lanham, and I can be reached at 954-695-6518. Thank you.